Hello, I'm Dr. Stephanie Gray with Your Longevity Blueprint and the Integrative Health and Hormone Clinic. Thank you for joining me today with the first out of 4 videos in our 4-part liver detox series. So one step in helping our bodies achieve optimal health is truly working to remove our incoming burden of toxins, and our livers are the primary detox organs responsible for handling that incoming burden, so the toxins don't become stored in our bodies and accumulate. So let's first define what a toxin is. Toxins are any substance that has harmful effects on the body. They're fat soluble, which means they're attracted to the fatty portion of cells throughout the body. Like our brains, right? What is our brain made out of? Fat. So do we want toxins getting stored in our fatty brains? Absolutely not. Now, our liver has the ability to handle a certain amount of toxins, and each of our livers may be a little different. Likewise, each of us may be exposed to a different amount of toxins daily. So if you think of a glass of water half full, if we keep pouring water into that glass is eventually going to overflow, right? And the same is true with our livers. Our livers over our lifetimes can accumulate a large amount of toxins, and they may need a little assistance clearing some out so that glass of water or that liver doesn't overflow, right? So where do toxins come from? You may think you're not exposed, but I would beg to differ that you are. We live in a pretty toxic world, and there actually are quite a few interesting movies or documentaries on this. So if you haven't already seen Stink, Living Downstream, or The Human Experiment on Netflix, I encourage you to check them out. Now, if you walk outside and you're breathing in air, you're likely exposed to chemicals, right? If you're sitting in traffic and you roll down your windows, the air around you could be filled with auto exhaust. And even the water we drink may be toxic. Is the water you drink filtered? Think about that. You may not realize that the cleaning products you're using could be full of chemicals, and your place of work may expose you to solvents as well. I often think of my friends who are hairstylists, who I very much need, but they have been exposed to many chemicals through their lives, and in the past I even allowed them to put bleach on my head. That's not good, right? Think about the chemicals you could be putting on your largest organ, your skin. We'll get to that in a little bit here, but really got to choose safe products. We're also exposed to heavy metals, not just in hair products, but in other products we could be using in medications we take, in the foods we consume, in the metal fillings in our mouth, and even through vaccinations. And other places that we could be exposed to toxins include our lifestyle toxins. So back to the cosmetics, our skin again is our largest organ. So if you haven't checked out the Environmental Working Group Skin Deep app that ranks the safety of products, I highly encourage you to do that, and check out my blog specific to skincare products, which we'll post a link to at the bottom here. You may choose to smoke or drink alcohol or visit Starbucks, right? Consuming a lot of caffeine. All of these unfortunate vices, I guess, can also contain toxins, right? And even if you enjoy meat, the meat that you've been consuming could have been injected with could have been injected with hormones, growth hormones, right? They also could be given antibiotics, which is also not great. So even the foods that we consume, unfortunately, can add to our toxic load. So if you think you're not exposed, I would say the statistics show the average person consumes 14 pounds of pesticides, herbicides, and food additives and preservatives, which is a pretty high amount. Atrazine specifically, which is an herbicide, has a very high concentration in Iowa, and I live here in farming country, so we're definitely exposed. But atrazine, unfortunately, has been linked to insulin resistance and diabetes. So these chemicals that we're exposed to can impair our body's ability to function. They're not good, and sometimes it's very difficult to limit our exposure. Our own government, the U.S. EPA biopsy studies of chemicals stored in the fat of human beings showed that 100% of humans studied had dioxin, PCBs, dichlorenzine, and xylene. So what are those? Dioxins and PCBs outgas from carbonless copy paper, plastics, inks, paints and furnishings, and construction glues. And xylene outgases from plastics, carpetings, furnishings, construction materials, industrial traffic exhaust, and more. Other studies have shown that 100% of human fat samples contain styrene, which can outgas from computers and many of our everyday plastics that hold our juices, our water, sodas, ketchup, peanut butter, milk, and even baby formula. So why does this matter? Why do the chemicals we're exposed to really matter? Well, styrene specifically is a known carcinogen, and in general, these chemicals are not good for our bodies. Columbia University School of Public Health reported that 95% of cancer is caused by diet and environment. So we can change our diet, not necessarily the environment. No one is immune to these chemicals. The CDC report, a report in 2006, found that the average American has 116 of 148 synthetic compounds in the body, and the compounds tested included dioxins, PCBs, and organochlorine pesticides. Further studies revealed that the same substances were also found in human milk, placenta, umbilical cord blood, and the blood and body fat of newborns. The average umbilical cord blood contains 217 of neurotoxins, 208 of which are known to cause birth defects. So that is very scary, and these studies are showing us really evidence of how burdened our detoxification capacities have become, which can result in the storage of toxins. Now, again, we can't always get rid of our exposure, but what we can do, what these blogs are about, is how we can control, really working to revitalize our liver to help it be able to handle the toxins we all will be and are exposed to. So I encourage you to tune in for the next 3 parts in this detox blog series. In part 2, I'm going to talk more about how you can change your food and water to lessen your toxic load, and in part 3, we'll discuss more about supplements, part 4 about use of infrared saunas. So if you want to learn more about detoxing the body, check out chapter 5 in my book, Your Longevity Blueprint. Please tune in again for those future blogs. We'd love to hear feedback. Like this video, please share it with friends and family. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to learn more, and remember that wellness is waiting.